of base some of that. A bit down by the 2 dots, which is, let's say, 10 lines from the top, more 12 lines from the top. So the Gemara now is going back to the Mishnah. The Mishnah said, Yesh chayrish kalam echad, chayvel mishum shmeina lav. Someone can plow one little area in a field and be over 8 lavin at the same time. And the Mishnah said, to kilayim shayr b'chamoyer being chayrish with 2 types of animals. They're mukdoshin, so that's 2. Both holy, so you're using a hektish of a shayr and a chamoyer, that's 3. Kilayim bekerem is 4. Shvius is 5. Yom to the 6. And at the same time, it's a Klein and a Nazir who's going to base a car, so that's 8 altogether. So the Gemara is now going to ask, we could have made more. You want to get more? Well, why say 8? Could have made more. And interestingly enough, we're going to see that the Gemara has a whole bunch of kashas and doesn't actually answer the kashas. You have to get to Tosfos. It's like a unique situation where the Gemara asks a question. You want to see the answer to the Gemara's question. Look in Tosfos. Normally the Gemara asks a question, the Gemara answers something. Here it's like the Gemara asks like a whole bunch of questions. Tosfos explains why the Gemara didn't bother answering. Okay, but let's see inside the Gemara. Maskit lo Rav Oishir. Rav Oishir, the Amoyer Rav Oishir asked the kasha. The lechshav nami hazireh benachal esan. You're talking about plowing. Why not talk about a situation where you're also working? The plowing is happening benachal esan. Right, Nachal Esan is that valley which was used for the Egla Rufa. So after it's used for the Egla Rufa, the Nachal Esan is not allowed to be loyi oved veloyi zoreya. The pasuk, you're not allowed to work on it. You're not allowed to sow. So we also understand it's not just literally sowing, but plowing would also be a problem. You're not allowed to do any work in the Nachal Esan, in this hard, this kind of rough valley which was used for the Egla Rufa. Why would there be Makkos? The lav, the warning. The part in the place where the Torah says do not do it is from the pasuk lo ye'aved by the lo yizarem. Reading that right? Valid in the Torah. Lo ye'aved by the lo yizarem. Yeah. Beginning of the pasuk says vayridu zigna yes egla nachal esan. Bring the egla, the cart to nachal esan. Lo ye'aved by the lo yizarem, which means you're not allowed to later subsequently work on it or so. So that could be another lamb. The Gemara doesn't answer the question, just moves on to another kasha. Maskif Rav Hananya. Rav Hananya says another kasha. Very creative over there. The Gemara is saying that when plowing, there was a stone or some sort of thing where it had the name of Hashem, some sort of on the ground there was the name of Hashem, and while plowing with the plow, he was moichik Hashem b'halichasai. He somehow raised the Shema HaKadosh Baruch Hu while walking or while plowing, and that's allowed. Lav is asras mehaka, like the pasuk says, "Vibatem es shemam." Lo yisasun kein Hashem l'kein. The pasuk says in the Sefer Devarim that when you go to Eretz Yisrael, you have to destroy the mizbechos, the altars of the goyim. You have to break their matzevas, and you have to burn their asherah trees, and so on and so forth. Vibatem es shemam and you have to totally destroy the names of the avodah zarah from those places. And it continues, "Lo yisasun kein Hashem l'kein," which tells me that all these things you're not allowed to do to Hashem. You're not allowed to, and you're not allowed to be moichik Hashem of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So why not say there's another level? While plowing, you were moichik, you erase the name while plowing. That's question number 2. Question number 3, Maskiv la Rabbo. The lechshiv nami hakoitzes es ba'arasa. Should also say a situation where while plowing, you cut your tsaras. You had a baharas. Baharas is a type of tsaras, and you're not allowed to cut the tzaras. Besides for the dinim of tzaras that you have to go Tami Yikra and all the different dinim, there's another din that you're not allowed to cut the tzaras. We'll soon see the pasuk. And let's say that we're talking about a situation where while plowing you were cut the tzaras. How that exactly works is a discussion. Because we have to find a case where the act of plowing, which is cutting the tzaras, you use the plow, according to some, you're using the plow to cut the tzaras kind of while you're plowing. It's a strange strange way. But what's the pasuk? Why does it say you're not allowed to cut it tzaras? You're not allowed to cut your tzaras off? It's because it says in the pasuk, "Yishama b'negat tzaras." The pasuk says, "Be careful with the negat tzaras." Now, pashtos, that just means do whatever you need to do. Yeah. Lashon pasuk. Yisham v'negat tzaras. Lishma ma'oid. Last chayla sheyiras makayin aldim. Kashas v'is. Tishma last. You have to listen to the kohen. The kohen tells you you go lock yourself up. But the drash, the pshat, the halachic way of learning the pasuk is that Yisham v'negat tzaras is allowed to be careful. The negat tzaras, don't cut it. Yisham, be careful, and it's allowed, because we know whenever it says Yisham, pen al, those lashonis, even though it doesn't say loy, since it says be careful is a lashon used for allowed. Maskif Labai said another kash of election nami. We should have another kash ben another. We should count much more than 8. Besides for the above of a Rebbe Nachal Eison and a Moich Kiss Hashem and a Koitzes Baharta. You should also have a situation. You should also you can also talk about a situation of someone who's a Meziach es a Choishen me alo Eifai. While plowing, the Choishen moves. He's a kind of godly. He's wearing the Choishen while he's plowing. That's one shot. Alternatively, with your plow, you hit the Choishen. You kind of you hit the Choishen, you move the Choishen from a Kohen's from the Kohen Gadol's either you're the Kohen Gadol or your plow is going into the Choishen of a Kohen Gadol, making it move. And we know there's a law that you're not allowed to move the Choishen from on top of the apron; it has to be resting on the apron. Or alternatively, if a massive Badei Orin, somebody removes the Badei Orin, he removes the poles of the Orin while plowing. As Rasim Yahachan, there's a law. The law of the Torah is also in Shemoyis Benegay to the in Sefer Parshas Vayakel or Parshas Truma, both the Tabis Aron Yir Badim Lo Yisurim Iman. The Badim, the poles of the Aron have to remain in the rings of the Aron. You're not allowed to go out. And if you remove them while plowing, so that's another law. Or like it says in Parshas Tetzaveh, I'm not sure. The Choishen is not allowed to move. You moved from the apron. And now with plowing, you did these two things. Another two lavim. Rashi asks another question. Let's say a situation where you're actually plowing using Atzi Asherah as your plow. So you're having hana from the Asherah tree. And the lav is from the past. It says Lo Yidba B'Yad Chama. But some Mepharshim point out, and I didn't see the answer. The Choy could have said another one. We know that if you finish Batzi Asherah, is also Leisavi Seyevel Beisacha. Said earlier, when we're going to say automatically when you're having enough Natzi Asherah, you also Leisavi Seyevel Beisacha. Maskitla Rabina, another one. The lecture of Nami Akoitis Ilonis Tavis, which should be another lav. The situation where not only you plowing Klein, but you're cutting down trees, which are fruit trees. As a Rasim Mehacha, there's a lav. You're not allowed to destroy fruit trees. Is Baal Tashkes. Yeah, we all talk about Baal Tashkes. Baal Tashkes doesn't just mean throwing away food which you don't want, which actually might not be Baal Tashkes. You don't plan on eating it anyway, whatever. But the original Baal Tashkes, the original lav of Lois Tashkes, is a pasuk in Parashas Re'eh, someone like that, where the pasuk says, Kisotzer Yom Ram is talking about the Kiseitze, when it's the context of war, or the end of Parashat Shoftim. Kisotzer Yom Ram Yilachmal El Tafsa Lois Tashkes is Eitzah. When you're surrounding a city for many days, don't destroy the trees. In Derechal of Gaza, Kimimenu Soicha, because this is you eat from Rabbi Yisroel Sichris. Yeah, there's a lab. You're not allowed to cut down a fruit tree. So let's consider that as being another lab that you could be over when being chayrish on Yom Tov with the Talamach, the whole situation that we said in the Mishnah. So the lab is going to be the loy sichris. You're not allowed to cut it. We're going to pause over here for a moment. All these questions the Gemara doesn't answer. Taisvus addresses the question in Divrei Maskif Larav. What's going on in there? Kasha Dash the Parak Tova. We should ask if we don't answer anything. He says you have to say Tana V'Shaya. Earlier we didn't want to say Tana V'Shaya. We said that the number Shmoina tells me there's no more. Taisvus says that's different because he wanted to. It was another lab when they get to Yom Tov. That would be weird to say one lab of Yom Tov, not another lab of Yom Tov. But to say the other lab which are not shaykh at all, it could be okay. And in fact, the Oracle there explains that once you're missing out a whole bunch, it's fine. And the following, and in fact, if you count the 7 so far, it's 8 in the Mishnah.
We decided it's not part of the mice.
No. I'm talking about Zereh B'Yom Tov. Chayrish B'Yom Tov, yeah? The listening, the Lil Kanami Shem Zereh B'Yom Tov, 5 or 6 cents from the bottom of Kapal from the base, yeah? Amlei Tana V'Shia. Amlei Tana Shmein V'At Amas Tana V'Shem. Rabbi Yesh Chilim Malach. Say that before we got to the character of Yesh Chilim Malach, Shabbos Yesh Chilim Malach B'Yom Tov, we were quite happy to say Tana V'Shia. So what? Sorry, we weren't happy to say Tana V'Shia because we said Shmoy V'At Amas Tana V'Shia. So you have to explain, as Taisvus does, that over there it's another lav of Yom Tov. It's weird to say Chayrish but not Zirei on Yom Tov. Mashenk in here we're talking about a whole bunch of different types of lav, and you could say Tana V'Shia. And in fact, the Oracle adds that you have 7 over. The following kash of the Gemara is going to be if you say 8 in the Mishnah, you can't leave out 8. 7 is okay. As long as you said most, you're fine. But the next kasha, the reason why the Gemara is going to be so busy answering the following kasha, which is coming up soon, is because that will make it 8, and that would be a problem. Okay, let's see Rashi on so far. Yeah, so Hisham and Benegat fast. I mean, because the height, because the pasuk says that the woods, the Gemara says the Shabbos, the Pshat, and Hisham and Benegat fast. The place is Barosa because the talking about someone who cuts off this type of saras. Hisham who lois the lashon Hisham, be careful, is a way of saying don't do something. Milkinami, like the Klein was made out of Atzasher. Koitz Yilonis Tevis Bali Kos. Okay, that's all the Rashi's with the Rivan said, actually, which are negated to this Gemara. And we'll go right to the next Kasha, which is the Kasha Amalei Reb Zeira L'Ramani. Reb Zeira said to Ramani, V'lechem Nami can go into Am Shavua Shaloi Achra. Someone made a Shavua that I'm not going to plow by Yom Tov, and he goes and he plows. So now there's another lab besides not plowing on Yom Tov, which is an Issa Leisas Kamalacha, Yom Tov, Leisas Kamalachas Aveda Leisasu. There's another lab of plowing on Yom Tov when he made the Shavua not to. So Gemara straight away jumps on and said, what do you mean? Hasam like Chala Shavua? There's no Shavua. Mushbavayim Narsina. We know there's the cloud. You can't make a Shavua on something which is already awesome. You can make a Shavua. The pasuk says Laharai Laheitiv. Has to be something which is like optional. You can choose whether to do it or not. And then you say a Shavua, but I'm not going to do it. But to make a Shavua that you're not going to eat, that you're not going to be Chayrish on Yom Tov, you're not allowed to be Chayrish anyway. So the Gemara says that's why we can't be Chayshev. That's why we can't be Machshev. We can't count the lav of being over on the Shavua. When you made a Shavua Shalei Achra, Shasam Likachala Shavua Mushbavayim Narsina. Amalei, so Zira pressed, and he said, no, you can still say, you're going to Am Shavua Shalei Achra Bein B'chol Bein B'Yom. The Migoy, the Chalol, that Shavua B'chol, Chalol Namin B'Yom. We know there's a cloud. Yes, you can't make it it's similar to the cloud of Issa Chalol Issa, but here it's, yeah. But the idea of not making a Shavua, you can't make a Shavua Mushbavayim Narsina is the idea like Issa Chalol Issa. You can't say that I'm not going to do something which you're already not allowed to do. But over here, we have a Knech. The person's making a Shavua, I'm not going to plow not on the weekday, not on Shabbos. When you do that, then the Shavua is Chal, because the Shavua has somewhere to be Chal on the weekday. Migu de Chal, the Shavua b'Chol, since the Shavua can be Chal b'Chol, because b'Chol you are allowed to plow. So you can make so Chol and then Yom Tov. So I'm not doing it not b'Chol, not b'Yom Tov. And that way the Shavua is going to be Chal on Yom Tov. It's what you call Issa Koilel, it's Koilel of other things, so it's Chal. True, you can't make one Issa neatly fall on another Issa. When the Issa falls on the Issa and it's applied to other cases as well, then that can be Chal. And now if you made the Shavua that I'm not going to eat, and I'm not going to be Chayrish, not on weekday, not on Yom Tov, should be Chal. The Gemara answers, Midi the Issa b'Sheila loiktani. The Mishnah is not going to be talking about those things which are not definite Isurim because they could be retractable. She'ela, you can ask on a nether. You can go to the Chacham and you say that I didn't really mean to make the nether. There's certain instances where the Chacham can be made for the nether, you can uproot the nether. We're not going into those categories. Right? More of a lie, is that really true? That's a very nice terrace. But the Mishnah does say things which are midi b'she'ela, things which could be you could kind of go back by asking a Chacham and the Chacham will take it back. What's those examples? Very Hagdash. Hagdash, we know when you magdish something, you can also, it's like a type of nether whereby if you karata, you can sometimes go to the Chacham and say, well, if I really knew what this meant, I wouldn't have been magdish. Then he can retroactively say that it's not Hagdash. Very Hagdash. The man says, no, you made a mistake. The Havmin of the Gemara is assuming that the second line of the Mishnah says the Hein Mukdash means regular Hagdash of Bedek Habayis, something which was given to the Bedek Habayis, to the treasury of the Beis Hamikdash to use and to sell and as a donation. So that's not type of Hagdash we're talking about. That's taka midi b'sheil. That taka could be retracted through going to a Chacham. We're talking about b'chor. B'chor is Shasim Mirachem, and something which is the Shasim Mirachem is called from the beginning when it's born. There's no midi b'sheil. You can't make it b'chor ois b'chor. Okay, so that's taka we say. B'chor it's both b'chor b'heima. Rashi Rivan had the long arichas on the Mishnah. Hey, Dashim, what exactly talking about? It's talking about b'chor, but is it talking the chamor? Is it pet chamor? Or is it b'chor seh? Different pshat of the other shayim. But over here we're going to assume it's a b'chor. B'chor shoy, b'chor seh, or pet chamor. And therefore, since Shasim Mirachem, so therefore it's not midi b'sheil. Okay, fine, you've answered Hagdash. Very Nazir. Nazir can go and be mad to his Nazirus by going to a Chacham. So what says the Nazir Shimshon? We're talking about Nazir Shimshon, which is not. Now, what does Nazir Shimshon actually mean? So obviously, Nazir Shimshon in its original form meant Shimshon was told by the Shimshon's father was told by the Malach, you've got to be a Nazir from the beginning. And that was the din. And Nazir Shimshon is less of the shayla. So what are we talking about? We're talking about somebody. It's different shatim. Either it's any type of situation where, and we'll see in the Rivan. Either it's talking about when it's tam and Nazir min abatan, or what it's coming to say is from min abatan, from the womb. In other words, the father says, "This is my son's a Nazir." In the second shat in the Rivan. Alternatively, we're talking about a situation where someone's mekabel and nazirus through a malach, and others mamish like Shimshon. So, other Rishonim say that it's talking about someone who's mekabel on himself, nazirus Shimshon. He can be mekabel on himself. I be a nazir, but not like nazir akas b'Torah, like a nazirus Shimshon. In which case, he's got the din of Shimshon. He's not going to be able to be shayel. Right? The Gemara straight away asks, nazir Shimshon bari tumei v'meisanu. Nazir Shimshon was an exception to the rule. Nazir Shimshon was able to be Metamed the Mason. How do you know that Nazir was able? Shimshon was able to be Metamed the Mason. So the Gemara discusses in another Masechta, and the Gemara suggests first of all, what do you mean Shimshon himself? We know that he killed people and Metamed Masons. So the Gemara pushes that away because maybe they were goyim. And ultimately, the Gemara says it's halach l'Moshe Sinai. Then a Nazir Shimshon is mutter to be Metamed the Mason. And if so, that doesn't make right. Nazir Shimshon is not allowed to have wine and not allowed to do other things at his hair. But he's allowed to be Metamed to Mason. Our mission was so back to square one. In other words, if we're going to be machshiv shavua shaloi echrish bo yom tov v'choil, I'm sorry, if we can't be machshiv that, then we shouldn't be able to be machshiv Nazir either. The only answer you're going to tell me is maybe the Isa b'sheila, but Nazir is also the Isa b'sheila. Nazir Shimshon, which is Leisa b'sheila, can't be what the mission is talking about because Nazir Shimshon is allowed to be Metamed l'Mason. For some reason, the Gemara seems very bothered by this final question, even though it wasn't bothered by all the rest. Like I said, the Oracle Ness says because this shifts the balance, that there should be 8 on each side, 8 which the Mishnah says that you are like it for, and 8 which the Mishnah is omitting. So we don't want it to be right half and half. It's okay if it's 8 and 7. So therefore, the Gemara is busy trying to find an answer to this question, and therefore the Gemara finally says, "Alahai Tana is a koila lesle." Tana of the Mishnah didn't say the case of somebody who makes a shua that I'm not going to be chayrish on Yom Tov, and the way it was chal by him saying be chayrish on weekday and Yom Tov because he doesn't hold the Yisroel koila. He says it doesn't make a difference. At the end of the day, your shavua of not being chayrish on Yom Tov, even though part of the shua was that you're not going to be chayrish b'chayil, it doesn't make a difference. The part that you're not going to be chayrish b'Yom Tov, you can't make a shua of such thing. You're already not allowed to be chayrish b'Yom Tov. Just the fact that it's a koila that the nether is chal on other things as well doesn't make it chal on this thing as well. You already asked to be chayrish in Yom Tov. The nether can't be chal. The shvur can't be chal. That you're not allowed to. That's the second issur of not plowing on Yom Tov, and therefore the Mishnah omits it. That's it. Rivan, starting from Miko Chaylele. He's explaining the Gemara, which says, can you really be chal when you make a neder to not to plow on Yom Tov? It's a yom nishpa shalei vatla mitzvah. You're making sure you're not going to be vatla mitzvah. Not allowed to hate the shvur. The aims of shvur, not considered shvur. When you be vatla mitzvah, the same thing as when you're making a shvur that there should be that you're not allowed to do an avera. You're already not allowed to do it. Migu sigma is migu the chaylele shvur. It's a koil. That's it's a koil. And then Rivan goes on to tell arichas. It's a moisav, which perhaps not what the Gemara is talking about. But he explains that there's a concept of Issa Mois as well. Even though Ein Issa Chal, Issa one Issa can't be Chal, another Issa. Issa Koil is one exception where the Issa is going to be broader and it applied to other things as well. Issa Mois is when the Issa is still going to be Chal on the same thing, it's going to be more Cham. Going to be Issa. Something's Asa for one reason, and through something happening, there's going to be another Issa. It's going to be Mois. Going to be an extra issa. The dumi the Asian is nas chamois. The mois would be kar chaim elebe and bahash to kaim beskila. It's like an Asian ish who's also now your mother-in-law. So there's going to be another issa, not because there's any broader application, but just because it's more chamo now. Because originally an Asian is Hispanic, and now it's your mother-in-law. So it's kaim elebe skila. Right. In other words, someone is engaged to be married. So he's not allowed to have relations with his future mother-in-law because she's an Eish. Once he gets married, he's not allowed to have relations with her, not only because he's an Eish, but also Chamoisa. Can that Issa be Chal? What do you mean? She was already asked us. The answer is yes, because Eish is Chanek and Chamoisa is Skila. Inami, another example of Issa Moisa is Chaylev de Noisa. The Karlev Issa Chaylev. Ashli Toisval Issa Noisa. It's another Issa which is Muchamo. The Chaylev is Belav. Chaylev is also Karetz, huh? No, maybe not. Maybe it's only Noisa's cars. I think maybe only Noisa's cars and Caleb is allowed. So that's why it's called considered an Issa Moisa. Yeah, but Issa Koila, what's Issa Koila? Nothing changed with the Al Koila can be so against someone who marries the sister of his mother-in-law, and now the mitzvah kula acts, it's Nami B'Chamoisa. That Lav can, because the Lav is Achois Isha. Now, Achois Isha not just one sister, a whole bunch of sisters, so it can be found on the mother-in-law as well. It's just the other way around. If someone was your mother-in-law, but she wasn't married, and then she became an Ish. The Migu, since this Chamoisa, by becoming married, is not just when she becomes the fact that she's an Ish, it's not just us on you, but us in the whole world. So call the Nami the These are different examples. It's a Moisa. The Gemara, that's the Gemara's cash. The Gemara says the Nazir Shimshon. First of all, the Gemara says, "Midi the Issa b'Sheila," we're not saying. So what do you mean? But Nazir is Midi the Issa b'Sheila. Nazir Shimshon. They mal keep on the zir salam the hoy in the Shaila with Tzibur Shalamayla. With Tzibur Shalamayla, and you only be shoyal on something which you were makabel on yourself. When the Malach instructed that you're not allowed to be that you have to be a nazir. So then there's no shayla, there's no retracting. The Gemara asks on that nazir shimshon back to moila mason. Well, that's a very nice chat, and we know nazir shimshon is allowed to be metamel mason. Yeah. So Klum also the Tamin Mason is not allowed to. Adam Shmekabin is just like they mal. Chaminim sex Nazir. The Gemara says Nazir Shimshon Hotter the Tamin Mason. Shimshon Taka was mutter to be Metamin Mason, even though regular Nazir not. Shimshon was a different type of Nazir. Obola Fuki Makrali. Gemara Taka wants to learn from the pasuk which says Vayach Me'av Hamishim. It's a pasuk in Shoftim that killed 30 men. He killed 30 men, not finally when he killed them and Thomas Nafshim Plishim when he killed himself at the same time. Another situation of Paraklay. So that's a marker that he's allowed to be time amazing. No, aim of the Shavinu Gois. Maybe he didn't actually wait till they died. He killed them and left them to die, but he was on the time. Ela Gemara. That's what the Gemara says. Halach l'meisha misin. Ela Gemara. Gemara doesn't mean comrades. Halach l'meisha misin. Based on the fact something. Nazir Shimshon Nazir min abet. That's Nazir Shimshon. Not that he's to a malach. Not Nazir from womb, from the beginning. The parents decide. Who now Mishayla is Ovid Yachal Ishalov. The father could retract. At that time. We'll continue. It's a different thing, really, not really negay. Just as we're talking about hektish and chayvel of the hey mukdashim, we're talking about kilayim. So we say an interesting din over it. Marbia shoy psulei mukdashim loy kishnayim. Psulei mukdashim means a hektish which became the balmon, right? And we know that there's the yoytzel chulin, right? But there's still certain restrictions on it. Like the Gemara says, we'll see in Rivan that certain restrictions is still kaddish to some degree. So because of that, it's very interesting. The Torah considers psulei mukdashim to be considered two different types. One animal, but it's two different types of animals. Since there's sad chulin and sad kedusha, so marvia shoy psulei mukdashim. We take a shoy which is psulei mukdashim, and you made it, right? He goes and it mates with a regular animal. It's going to be like kishnayim, whatever animal it is, even if it's another shor, because it's going to be an issue of the of a harva. You're not allowed to mix a chulin dikin animal with a hagdish dikin animal, and here the chulin sad is the hagdish sad is mixing with the chulin sad, and therefore like kishnayim. Why like kishnayim, by the way? So the Agoy Tzim says Tal Soifrim, because it's fair to understand why it's shnayim. It's oneness, exactly. What's the chiddush bichlal? It's a shoy with the shoy. That's not called revia. The chiddush is that because it's psulei mukdashim, therefore it's considered hagdish with chulin, or if you do it with hagdish, it's going to be chulin with hagdish. Okay. Right? You take one shoy which is psulei mukdashim and you plow, you lead it. Loika, you're going to be loika, even though it's one animal. Shari guf echadu, it's one animal. The Torah considers it two gufim. In other words, there's a limit. We'll see in the Rivan that even one animal is psulei mukdashim. It's not a sad chul and sad tush. Considered like two animals. Considered split personality. Has two different types of the things going on. It's hagdish and chulin at the same time. It's kaddish and it's chulin at the same time, and therefore the Indian harva, it's considered hagdish and chulin, and the Indian being manig is considered like kili behema, like you're doing two different types of animal, even though it's one animal, because part of it's chulin and part of it's hagdish. Let's see Rashi. Even with the same in why it's one guf, really, it's one show, but it goes about Gimel says something. V'asai who v'asai kashrei gufin. The Torah is chulin. The Torah is kashrei miyasham. There's a Torah is chulin on it. What's chat? Torah is chulin. Shemot machim because pesach mode. You're allowed to eat it because pesach mode, even though it's kashrei because it became a balmum. You're allowed to eat it. If it was never hagdish. On the other hand, the Torah is kashrei is still considered kashrei. Shall also be giza v'avoida. You're not allowed to share the wool and you're not allowed to work it. The minimum is free. It's passing parshas there. You're going to lay in the second day Shavuos. The chol avas nafshchat is the kokalta basa. V'mei akasa medaber. In bebasa taiva. Well, no, maybe not. I thought it was that. No, Chalavas typically Altabas of Makkos. The imbas have a crowd. Kiyak Hashem the Kaxim Bofam. Kisava Nafshik. Imbakid is Kachim Arikva Amor. Kim Makkos Misham Tala. So what are we talking about? Yeah, so it can't be Mamish Cholin and it can't be Kachim. So what? Aina Kandam and Psulim Mikdash Shanif Tizbak. Well, like we don't from the word Tizbak that you can shecht it. That you can't do anything you want with it. You can't share it. You can't use the word the Asor. The basar, you can eat the meat, but like you can't milk it. No, but chalta, you can eat it, but like you can't give it to your animals to eat. There's a certain condition that you have to treat it with a certain respect, and not everything's mutter. Regardless of which animal you're going to do marvia with, if it's kachim, so the part of chulin is going to be mixed with kachim. If it's with a kodesh animal, so the part of chulin and the kachim part. Became a manning. I feel a manning imino. I feel a manhigu b'fnei atzmai. Even if you're manning by himself, chulim b'kajim b'chayim b'shum t'laim b'charishin. What's mikilayim shasana kas shnei guf. Lo shamati rai minolan chulim b'kajim t'laim zeh zeh dava taimu. So Ron finished off by saying, I don't understand what's the heck of the raya. Chulim b'kajim t'laim zeh zeh dava taimu. That's what the Gemara says. That's the biur of the Gemara. But what's taka the makkah? The Ron leaves with the kasha. Where taka the makkah. So we'll continue. We'll just do the Mishnah and then. We'll finish the Mishnah and we'll do the Gemara next time on Wednesday. Let's do the Mishnah. Kama Malkinoisai. So this is finally after all Eloin Aloikin, right? We tell you all the different cases when you get Malkus. Now we say, what's Taka Malkus? You don't want to do it? Right, it's a short Amma to Malkus. Stop it there.
I'm saying it's an easy Mishnah, no?
Yeah.
Yes, let's do it next time.
Okay, we'll stop over here and see.